As I was scrolling through X this morning, by the way, go follow me over there if you haven't already. But as I was scrolling through X, I kept seeing posts from people saying, hey, what happened to the drones? Where did the drones go? Did the drones disappear? And a lot of these posts are coming from large accounts. And I just kept scrolling and posts kept popping up. People questioning, where are the drones? Why did the drone story disappear? And I imagine that could be very frustrating for the people living in New Jersey who still have drones flying over their house every day. You see, because the media hasn't really been focused on this story anymore, most people just assume that it's no longer a problem. That this whole gigantic issue just disappeared overnight. And, I sometimes question the media and the tactics that they use. Sometimes I think we forget that they're not on our side. And sometimes I think they do things like, for example, with this drone story, I think sometimes they'll hype up a story for a few days. They'll have it all over every headline. They'll talk about it. They'll give it a lot of attention. And then like a flick of the light switch, they stop all media coverage. You know what I mean? I think that sometimes that for maybe like 72 hours, they will boost up a story and then they flick off the story like a light switch. And when they do that, they give the American public the impression that whatever the story was about, that the story went away, or the problem was solved, or that this isn't important anymore, something else is important, or what have you. Sometimes I wonder, is the media doing this on purpose? Is this a tactic that the media does on purpose? We'll hype up a story, we'll draw a lot of attention, and then we'll shut the story down in a heartbeat. And hopefully that will give people the impression that, hey, there's nothing to see here anymore. No need to talk about this anymore. This isn't a problem anymore. If this was a problem, surely the media would still be talking about it like they were talking about it yesterday and the day before, right? So I think that they intentionally sometimes do that, especially when it comes to stories like this drone story, where there's a big mystery. There's a huge disconnect from the people on the ground and what the government is saying. And at the end of the day, the media gets their stomping orders from the government. We know that, okay? They exposed that during the lockdowns a few years ago. So we know how they operate. You know what I mean? It's not like they operate on their own without any input from the powers that be. So I think that there could be a tactic like that being used here, right? Where, hey, we're going to drum up a lot of attention, then we're going to suddenly stop talking about it, and hopefully that will trick people into believing that there's no longer a problem. But also, you could look at it from different angles, because it's clear to me that there are some conversations being had behind the scenes, because we even had senators and mayors from New Jersey who were speaking out about this problem who have now been silenced. So I do think that some media outlets, I think some politicians were kind of dragged into a room somewhere and told, hey, stop talking about this. Stop talking about this. Stop bringing attention to this, or whatever. But even though the media stopped talking about it, even though some of the original people who were ringing the alarm about this problem have gone awkwardly silent, and even though when you get on X or you get on social media, you'll see people asking, what happened to all of the drones? The drones are still very much there. The people of New Jersey will tell you that they're still there. And it's not just New Jersey. In fact, the point that I was trying to make to people is that, yeah, maybe the sightings have decreased in New Jersey, but they're increasing in other areas. Do you think these things are just going to fly around New Jersey forever? No, I'm sure that they completed most of whatever mission they had. whatever their agenda was, flying over New Jersey for a month and a half, I think that's enough time to complete whatever they wanted to get done. But it's still not over. In fact, a mayor from New Jersey had to speak out about this because I think he's growing frustrated too with the general public, I guess, assuming that the problem has gone away. The government has still not provided, or the federal government has still not provided any answers as to what's going down. And the mayor of one of these towns in New Jersey claims that he and his family saw drones on Christmas Eve, that they're still there, floating, flying around, sometimes in formation. And now it seems like they're kind of passing through New Jersey as they head to New York, which is like I was telling people. They probably got the job done in New Jersey. They done spied on everything, did everything they wanted to do, and now they're branching out. Now they're going to New York or what have you. But let's go ahead and roll this clip. I want you all to hear it from his mouth instead of mine, and then I'll be right back with more thoughts.
Just a few days ago, it was Christmas Eve. So I just happened to have my dryer shit the bed, and we had to go out and get a new one. So I took two of my boys, and we went to a couple of places, Lowe's and Home Depot. And we got one. We got it loaded up, and we're at Home Depot, and we are actually looking out the parking lot, and I saw what looked like to be a drone. And I looked down at my phone, and I looked up again, and I saw it again. This is a minute or two later. So I asked my one son, I'm like, do you see that? He's like, oh, there's another one coming. In just a few minutes, 4 or 5 minutes, we saw 7 drones. They came this way. They followed the ridge line over Cedar Crest, which is an assisted living facility. And then they went towards New York City. And then when we got back to the house 15, 20 minutes later, drones were coming over the house in a very specific pattern. We opened up our flight app. We opened up our drone app. There was nothing there. There was nothing there at all. All 3 of us got our phones and our cameras out, and not one of us was able to take a good picture. And as you can see, we also have our telescope, and yeah, I just suck at that. So anyway, they're still out there.
So the problem isn't over, ladies and gentlemen. I know a lot of people want the problem to be over because most people, they can't handle things like this. They want to feel comfortable and secure. So it doesn't matter if the drones are still flying in New Jersey. People want to hear that they aren't. It doesn't matter if they still are. Listen, a drone can be over a person's head right now. That person still wants to hear from the media, oh, that's not a drone over your head. You're perfectly safe. People want that comfort. They need that comfort for some reason. I'm not that type of person. I'm hey, give it to me straight. Let me know what I'm dealing with. I'll handle it from there. However it gets handled, I can take it, right? But other people, they want to be told that they're not seeing the things that they're seeing. Other people, regardless if the problem is still ongoing, they want to hear that it stopped. So the media hasn't really come out and told everyone, hey, no problem here. There's nothing going on here. The drone invasion is over. No, the media hasn't come out and directly said that, but the media has kind of just all of a sudden just dropped this story like a hot potato, and now people are just assuming, oh, it's over. And a lot of people find comfort in that. They find comfort in being sold lies that make them feel more comfortable, instead of being told the truth that may make them feel uncomfortable. So it's kind of frustrating, and it's sad. And like I said, it's got to be frustrating for the people who are dealing with this directly, that go on social media and they see everyone talking about the drone problem going away. Meanwhile, there's a drone hovering above their house. But I think this shows you just how much power the media still has over people. Because you think that they don't have any power anymore, but they do. And I think that the majority, even from the get-go, even from day one of this story was never taken as seriously as it should have been. This story never got the attention that it should have gotten. And just like that, it's going to blow away, which is what they intended. They wanted the holidays to come about, and hopefully everyone's so distracted by the holidays that they forget about the drones. You turn on the news, they're no longer talking about drones. You go on social media, all of the big accounts with millions of followers are saying, hey, what happened to the drones? The drones just went away. Instead of sharing, I don't know, factual information about the drones still being there. Of course, no one's going to do that because that doesn't get as much engagement as saying, hey, the drones have just suddenly disappeared. So I expect that this is a problem that we're going to be dealing with for a long time. It's a problem that will fall out of the news cycle. It's a problem that everyone will stop talking about until something else happens. So what I mean by that is you're going to stop hearing about the drones for a few months, and then 6 or 7 months from now you'll hear about a new situation. Oh God, drones are over our military bases. What's going on? They do this every few months. They're going to do it again. And meanwhile, we'll never have a solution. We'll never know what the actual problem is. Everyone will just be herded along to move along like sheep. I've seen it 1,000 times. This will be no different. The only difference here is we're going to have these lingering, hovering drones over our head reminding us of just how easily we are distracted. Okay? You know, one day you're going to wake up and you're going to go get coffee and you're going to see drones flying over. And you're going to wonder, hey, how did this happen? How did we get here? Well, because we had a chance to solve this problem, or at the very least, we had a chance to raise a lot of awareness about this problem, but people decided, hey, Christmas, New Year's, well, the news stopped talking about it, so who cares anymore? So, hey, it is what it is. We'll just continue to get invaded by drones, and we'll all pretend like it's not happening because that makes us feel better, right? But for now, let me know what you think about this down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe, ring that notification bell, and I'll talk to you all very soon in the next one.